How you doing today?
Great.
Good.
I just
Good.
gratitude practice, so I'm already like juiced up.
You just did it?
I'm not finished with it yet, but I'm about to be.
Okay. It's good, right?
Yeah.
Stevie and I are doing hi, LaDawn. Hi, Remel. We're doing a 28-day gratitude practice based on the book, or following along with the book, The Magic, and some of my other family members are doing it as well. And it's super juicy.
So good.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
You have?
No.
Wow. You're so good at them.
I know. I haven't done them in a minute.
Amazing. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about your journey and get some tidbits that people could resonate with or, use for their own journeys. But I've seen you be on quite a journey and embody where you are now from a completely different place. So I wanted to ask you about some pivotal moments along the way and what that's been like for you. I think I want to start with, have you always known that you were a grower? Because you're one of the most committed people that I know in terms of your commitment to yourself. And was that something that you always knew about yourself, or did you discover it?
I would say, so I guess personal development or the work, whatever you want to call it, I didn't find that about 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
So, in that sense, I wouldn't say yes, but what I would say is I've always been very, from as a little girl, I've been very connected to my dreams, very connected to my desires and what I want, and like this and that, and what about this, and what if this could be. So I would say in that way, yeah, I've always been connected to the next thing and what I want to evolve into and what I want to become, what I want to experience. But as far as like healing work, not necessarily in that context, but yes, always to the growth.
So you always had a vision.
Always.
Yeah. From as early as you can remember.
Yeah. And it's not always been the same. I mean, like, I've done music for so long, so that's been like a pretty long standing thread. But first it was like, I'm going to be a plastic surgeon.
Oh, stop. Really? I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Oh my,
it was
my gosh.
I saw Nip Tuck one time and I was like, oh yeah, that's for me.
Really? How old were you?
Like way too young.
To be watching Nip Tuck also.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, this is for me. And then it was like, oh, marine biologist. And then it was like a pop star. And then it was like, it kind of evolved from there.
Wow. Wait, back up. I didn't even introduce you because I'm just like, everyone knows Stevie. Sorry. Why don't you tell everyone a bit about what you're up to and what you're doing in case they don't know?
Well, I'll start by saying, so Deanna's been my coach for January will be 4 years. For 4 years.
Yeah. And
we've been so consistent, like every single week for almost 4 years. And I'm a life coach. I'm a somatic healer. I'm a breathwork facilitator. And I think, like, as I've been in work with you and as you've reflected me so clearly over the last several years, what my purpose is connecting people with possibility, limitlessness, and desire, non-resistance, and abundance, and doing things that from a place of fun.
Yes.
And so that's kind of what I do and who I am. And there's many layers of me and different aspects of me, but I'll just start with that.
That's amazing. Yeah. And you're such a great leader in terms of the way you show up, the way you live your life, and really being authentic to what you teach and the way you guide people. You're walking the walk yourself.
Thank you.
And I've had a front row seat.
Yes, you have.
Yep. Actually, it's interesting that you say from a place of fun, because we have so much fun in our work together. Like, literally, sometimes our sessions, hi Layla, sometimes our sessions are like half a raucous laughter.
Yeah.
It's literally like a laughter therapy.
And I think there's something to that. I think there's something to, one, I mean, what I feel with you and what I feel like I've gotten from you and like integrated for myself is seeing the ways that I'm like in my way and then like making fun of it from like a place of like total play and love. And then, but then it pops it open, you know, because it, like I'm seeing the limitation or like something that I'm putting on myself and I'm going like, what am I doing here? What's the really?
Yeah.
And I hope that I bring that into my work with the people I hold as well. But you're really good at that.
Thanks. It's a good collab. It's quite a good collab.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so aside from that, what you just shared, do you feel like laughter and fun has played any other role in your growth or even like how explosively your business has grown?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I was, who was I? Was it you or was someone else? I was talking about my, like kind of my values, my pillars in my life. And it's like growth, support, authenticity. And I jokingly said fun, but then I was like, wait, that's not really a joke. That's not at all. I'm actually very serious about my fun.
Yes. I've done a post before about how fun is serious.
Yeah. I'm very, very serious about it. And I think that the way that I allow myself to play and the way I allow myself to laugh and have fun is kind of the energy that fuels and fills me to create inspired offerings, to be in that non-resistance we were talking about, to be in joy and gratitude. And that feeds me in my work and how I build my life.
Yeah, absolutely. I see that.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. I think actually that it's underrated. Yeah. Maybe not
totally
by me, but I feel like
you and I, but
by some. I remember when I was in like the throes of one of the hardest stages of my life, if you know, to do with a relationship, and when I would like get in bed at night and like be like so sad, I would lay in my bed and watch either Bridesmaids or Legally Blonde on my phone. And it would just like completely shift things for me. Just like laughing by myself.
You're a good laugher.
I am. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. When I was an actress, people, if they were doing a comedy, they would be like, invite Deanna to get her in the front row. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
So you always had vision. In terms of the growth aspect, were there certain events in your life or certain catalysts that led you to dive more deeply into like, oh, actually, I want to grow. Like consciously, I want to put my focus here. I want to learn more in these areas.
Yeah. I mean, I think a big one is my journey with American Idol when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it at the time because I was 16 at the time.
Yeah.
But in my late 20s, I kind of look back on that experience and how I was showing up in my life as like a 27, 28-year-old and going, I think like there's some residue here of some ways that this has impacted me and that are limiting me, the way I see myself, the way I show up, the way that I approach things, the way I approach things that I want. And so I had a conscious decision or a conscious knowing of kind of opening that up and, you know, excavating and rummaging around and getting support in that from some of the trauma that was left over from that. It was a really tough experience. That was one that opened me. I think also in general, as I started my business in coaching, I was coming up against so much struggle and so roadblocks and so many like brick walls that I couldn't seem to move past. And I had a very, very clear vision, a very clear dream of what I wanted to do, but it just kept feeling like I would get to a point and it would fall flat and just nothing was working. And so, I'm sure I can think of, more off the top of my head, but those are the ones that are kind of percolating right now and going, I need support, and I would like to know what is blocking me from reaching my next level.
Right. So it sounds almost like, at least in part, it was a commitment to your vision.
Yeah.
That led you deeper.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Commitment to my vision, the inspiration to what I wanted, like being really filled up. And it's great because, and I teach about this in one of my courses, my confidence courses, is there was something inside me that even though nothing was working, like things felt like they weren't working and I kept hitting these walls, I would get discouraged and I would get disappointed and I would be like, oh, and I would get deflated, but I would never fully turn my back and go, well, this must not be for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's something that really propelled me forward, is going, well, okay, well, that's not working. That's not working. That's not working. But what is going to work? And leaving it as a question mark, like what is going to work, instead of that's it, nothing's working, instead of like a statement.
Yeah. And what is it, either within you inherently or that you've learned, that allowed you to do that and not just go, this isn't for me altogether?
I actually haven't really, I'm not sure if it's inherent. My intuition says it's inherent, but I that it can be developed. I've just had this thing that if I see someone in a similar place where I want to be, instead of turning on myself and going, well, she's farther, they're farther, they're way ahead, like they have this thing, I must not be able to do it. My approach has always been, look at you go, see you there soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
I love that.
Yeah. Instead of like, well, that must not be for me because they already have it, or they must have something I don't. I'm like, I have no idea how you do that. I don't know when or how I'm going to get there, but see you soon.
Yeah.
So it's been like an intentional choice to not turn on myself.
Totally. That's amazing. That's a great skill, using envy in a constructive way.
Yeah, exactly.
If you look at it that way.
Yeah. Absolute envy. But it never turned like bitter. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I let it fuel me instead.
Yeah. Which is one of your gifts. Wait, I thought I was on Do Not Disturb, but my thing's going off. How do you find, so because you're so committed to all the things and you love learning, you love growing, you eat it up, how do you find the balance within yourself of going toward expansiveness, using these things for you, and the flip side of it, which could be something's wrong, gotta fix it, some more of my attention is going to growing than it is to other areas of my life. How do you find that balance within yourself?
I mean, I have to credit that to you. That's been a ongoing, not a battle by any means, but an ongoing learning curve for me because I'm so hungry. Yeah. I definitely have that part of me that's like, oh, but I want this. I don't have that. And then what about this? And then come on, let's get over here. And you've really helped me to slow down, to lean back, to really feel into my, I guess, see my life clearly and feel into my body, what's going really well now. And we were talking about it yesterday, but shifting my focus, shifting my focus on what I'm focusing on, that I'm allowed to want more. I'm allowed to want the expansion. And also, am I letting right now be delicious? Am I letting myself be nourished by this moment and how much I have now? And I think that would be the balance. Is a woman that I really respect, Melanie Layer, she says what does she say? 1 foot in desire, 1 foot in gratitude. That's what it is. 1 foot in gratitude, 1 foot in desire. And
love that.
Like always towing that line of gratitude for what is and the desire for more. And I love that thing, but I can't say that I've mastered the balance of it yet.
it can be tricky. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I know there's a lot of growers on here right now. If anyone can relate to that, is finding that balance of, I want more, and there's a lot of ambitious people here too, I know, and really embracing what is now. That is an art. I think it's an art. Yeah. Cool.
Absolutely.
And
I was going to say, you really helped me connect with how far I've come too. I think that's actually part of the balance.
Yeah.
Connect, looking back on my journey and looking at what I've done and what I've accomplished and where
Ray Mel can relate. Yes.
Yeah. And what to be and where I am now. And looking back on my journey going, look at what I've done. Look how far you've come, and seeing my process like that. I think that actually helps me with the balance as well, because it just goes, I've got so much evidence that I'm going to keep growing. I've got so much evidence that nothing's going to stop, that I'm going to be on my merry way of the things that I want to experience, but also look at what you've done. Can you enjoy this moment?
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing. Can you enjoy this moment? Because I think also the gratitude for what we've done, where we've been, informs our current state of being. And really, it's about our current state of being. It's about right now. Because, of course, there's always more things that we want to do and be and have and accomplish. But if we're not right now showing up the way we want and living and experience and feeling the way we want to, then it's all for nothing.
And it's all for nothing. And also, like, what I've experienced is when I'm in that crunchy place of being like, what's next, but also not having that one foot in gratitude. The thing that I want, that's whatever is next, gets pushed farther and farther away.
Yes, exactly.
Because I'm not being in relationship with the present moment, with how nourishing and juicy it could be if I really, it is, if I really let myself feel it and know it and take it in and digest it. The thing that I'm wanting next kind of gets further and further and further.
Yeah, totally. The gap widens.
Oh yeah.
You look so pretty.
Thanks.
Yeah. So singing has come back around. So Stevie, as she mentioned, was on American Idol when she was 16, and you sang also professionally in an amazing wedding band for years, and stopped because you felt like it was just time. And then just this year you recorded 4 songs. It's called an EP.
Yep.
EP. Tell us a little bit about your process of how that came back around for you and how you connected with it again and let it come through in an organic way.
Well, I'll start by saying my relationship to my creativity has been a difficult journey, because of my past with not just American Idol. Honestly, it's much that. I wasn't shown how to nurture. I'm a performer, and that's true. It's an absolute true archetype of mine. It's a very honest and authentic archetype of mine. And that was really developed and cultivated and like how to hold a room and hold an audience and that kind of thing. But my artistry was no one ever supported me with my artistry. And artistry is much more quiet. It's much more internal. It's your relationship with yourself. It's your relationship with your world and using your voice in a way that you share your own message. I never got to cultivate that. And so I always had the story that I'm a performer, but not an artist. I can do the thing and do the dance, but it's not like what else is there inside?
Yeah.
And so as I did the work with you, as I also did a lot of somatic trauma work around that, my creativity started to open, and I was terrified, absolutely terrified, but my desire, my need rather, to make my own music, because I'd never made my own original music before. The need was becoming so, what's the word? Like so apparent that it took over the fear.
Mm.
you know?
Wow.
And so I took the leap and I hired one of our dear friends who's a producer, a very, very talented producer. And I was terrified and I didn't know what it was going to look like. And it was just so divine the way that it happened. And when we opened that portal of going into an EP together and going into a creative project, it was just like a million words that I had never said, a million feelings that I'd felt but never gotten to put into like a piece of art. We're just like,
Yeah.
couldn't have done it 1 minute before I was ready.
Yeah.
I was ready, and then it opened, and all of a sudden it was like invest, producer, this, studio, boom, boom, record. And I've been wanting to do that for years and years and years, and I didn't have guts. And then finally it was like, can't not.
Yeah. I remember that being an intention when we started working together, and it just wasn't time until it was. I think there's a lot of wisdom in there. When you said it got to the place where the need was bigger than the fear, did you say when the need was bigger than the fear?
Yeah.
So how do you think you got there?
Well, one, I think you and I really started changing some of the stories that just because I've never written before doesn't mean that I'm not an artist in my heart, in my soul, that I'm meant to share my own music. So it was you first and foremost. I think it was like you reflecting to me clearly what you see, that yes, I am a performer, and that's true, but that's one archetype of mine.
Yeah.
So I think it was like changing the stories, getting your clear reflection about what you see in this. In the trauma work, I think it was like feeling through some of the terror and the sadness of that time. I think it was like feeling through the feeling of like, I'm valuable for how I perform and how I can put on a show, and kind of feeling that pain through, and then also like telling myself the truth and calling in the divine and spirit to help me see myself clearly again of, no, what else is there here? That's one part of me. But that's not the only thing that makes me valuable. And I get to have a say about when I perform and how I do it and when it comes through.
Yeah.
So I think, it's a years long process that it'd be hard to distill, but that's in the moment.
You got a wider, broader vision of yourself.
Yes.
I think there's also a lot of wisdom in being really kind and gentle to yourself along the way, where it was okay that it wasn't time until it was.
Yeah. There wasn't, there wasn't gonna push myself to do something that I wasn't ready for, but it was like night and day. When it was ready, it was like, it was ready.
Yeah. You were done in those songs in like a month, weren't you? Like basically the bare bones of them.
I mean, it took about 6 months to finish all. No, that's not true. It took 5 months to put out the first finished one. We started in January. We put out the first in May. To have them all fully finished, 9 months. It was just right before the wedding.
Right. But the writing, I feel like the first part of it was so just like flowed right through.
Yeah. We had to like add some bridges and add some verses here and there, but the bones of it, you're right. It came through so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's another interesting point is, how do you know within yourself the difference between when you're pushing something that's not ready and when it's just fear, something that you are ready to expand into, but it's just that unfamiliarity, that fear of somewhere you haven't quite been before?
Well, for me, I'm not exactly sure how to explain it, but the feeling is when it's the fear, but I'm ready, it's mixed with hunger.
Mm-hmm.
It's mixed with excitement. It's mixed with like, there's like, oh God, oh God, oh God. But it's also like,
yeah, it's kind of your brand.
Yeah, that's kind of my, mixed with this kind of like hunger that I can't really satiate until it happens. Whereas when it's not time, I don't feel that yet. There's still might be the fear, but it's also like, there's a hesitancy that feels correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then something opens and it's like, and then I have to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yep.
Good to know the difference. Anyone is feeling that right now? Means go time.
Go time.
Huh? Go time. I'm curious to know, does anyone else feel that?
Any
takers on that one? Okay. One last question, or I don't know, maybe a couple last questions, but what are the top tools that you have? Oh, LaDawn feels that. Wow. Right.
Amazing.
What are the things that you come back to that really help you when you get misaligned, or really just help you stay on track, help you keep expanding? What are the things that you do that you most rely on?
Concretely, a few things. The first one is my visualization practice, my meditation practice, where I'm grounding myself and then connecting with what I'm calling in, how I want to feel, my gratitude of what's right now. So I'd say like a lot of my visualization and meditation practice, walking with music. I do that quite a bit, and that really gets me connected and gets me in my flow. Embodiment work, dancing, a lot of movement practices really, really support me. And then support, like I talk about this in my content a lot in my podcast, but support has been, I think, the number one thing that has allowed me to expand into where I am and grow into where I am. It's where I like to invest my money. It's one of my top values is getting support. So I'd say those two things are what I continually rely on. Breathwork.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you do most of those things every day?
No, not every day. I would say, well, I'm excited to do this gratitude practice with you because there was a time where I was doing it every single day, and I want to get into a flow again. But once or twice a week, whether it's an embodiment practice or a breathwork practice or my visualizations or a walk, like 1 to 2 times a week, that feels like something that I can really connect to. But I do want to up that practice when it's right.
Yeah. What are you excited for? What's next?
I'm really excited to finish my album.
Yeah.
I'm calling in an investor right now to finish my album, and we have 4 songs that we put out. I want to do 8 more songs and do a full album, and I feel like I'm pretty clear that that's going to happen in 2024.
Yeah,
and it feels incredible. It feels incredible. It's like I feel like I've gotten to a place in my work as far as I have more goals in my business, but just as far as like the space that I hold and the way that I trust myself, I feel so grounded in that and landed in that. Right now, I really want to just make more music and be in my artistry.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That is definitely happening in 2024.
Yeah. What about you?
I have no doubt. I'm excited to continue with my one-on-one. I have my absolute love, and work with more people like you, amazing, ambitious, beautiful souls. And I'm expanding to do I have a class that I'm putting out soon with a live component, and I'm excited to expand into reaching more people, doing some groups and offering some things that have a bigger reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to say to everyone watching, like, Deanna has been, I mean, I credit so much of the life that I've created to Deanna. She's helped me and how she's reflected me and how you continually see me. And I think, I mean, years ago for the Breath Channel, we made a video of like why the work, how to get the work to work. That,
yeah.
And one of the things we talked about was your willingness to see me beyond how I see my, like, limitations I was putting on myself, projections others put on me, past my defense mechanisms. You were willing to see me. You were willing to have clear eyes and clear sight and a really open heart in how you saw me. And then invited me into that. And that's what's changed my whole life. So wait to see what you do in 2024 and the people that you continue to help in one-on-ones.
Thank you. Thanks for saying that. That's actually one of the things that fills me up the most about working with people is like I said, like widening that vision of yourself. But when I get to keep kind of like refocusing my vision on them and seeing these different parts of them that they're not quite seeing yet and inviting them there and actually going to that version of them that I know is there, that I know they want to step into, but they can't quite see it yet, and reflecting it and inviting them there is so fun, and it just fills me up so much. And when I have a collaborator like you, it's so fulfilling. It's so fun because it is a collaboration.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm so happy that we've done this and we get to continue.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you're such a beautiful leader and teacher for everyone. Yeah. Keep it up. I love you so much. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hope you got something out of our conversation.
Yeah. Thank you. I love being on your lives, and we'll do it again.
We'll do it again. All right.
Oh,
that's so amazing.
Love you, Raymel. Thank you.
Love you, Raymel.
All right. I love you, Dee.
Love you.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.